Welcome to another season of 10 Minutes with Tony Scott. On our show today, we'll talk hockey, have a little fun, and then talk a little bit more hockey. Today's show is brought to you by Gentry Academy, a private school in Blaine dedicated to academics, leadership, and hockey. This week on the show, we will have former Gopher and NHLer Joe Dzick in studio to talk about his role as the hockey director at Gentry. Also on today's show, we'll announce the first round pairings for the Big Pumpkin set to kick off the last weekend in October in Moorhead. We will also talk some Tier 1 and Colorado hockey as well. And like we do every week, we will likely roast someone or something. So grab a cold one, settle in. You never know, it could be you that is getting roasted. Our first segment of the show will be with former Gopher and NHLer Joe Dzick. Joe is the hockey director at Gentry Academy. We're joined today with Joe Dzick from Gentry Academy. Joe, thanks for joining us. We've had some great chats already. This should be another one. We got some good content lined up today. So what's going on at Gentry? What's new with you as the hockey director there?
Well, this being my first year at Gentry, I helped out a little bit last year, and now I'm on full time at Gentry. A lot of exciting things. It's our second month of the school year in the program so far. Things are going well. We've added some things that I'm pretty proud of. We've retained all of our kids from last year. We've doubled the enrollment size. We've added girls to our program.
Nice.
And we've also added some goalies.
5 goalies, I hear, right?
Yeah.
That's got to make life a lot easier on the ice, having 5 goalies.
No doubt about it. 5 goalies. It gives us more flexibility to do different drills. Guys are shooting at live goalies instead of shooting at the shooter-tutor. We can do scrimmages, 3-on-3 events. It gives us just a little bit more fun for the kids, and it creates a livelier atmosphere of practice.
Small area games, too, probably, with a goalie is a lot more fun.
A lot of 2-on-2, 1-on-1 scoring on goalies, a lot of one-pass games. So the kids love it. And again, we always have some kid that's always trying a new Dziedzic type move to rub it in the goalie's face.
So that's always a good thing. I love rubbing in the goalie's face. Let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, I bet the goalies love it too. It's probably great for their development, getting all kinds of rubber.
Yeah,
we've
got a goalie guy coming in this year, Peter Emery, who works with our goalies and does a great job. By the way, works really hard with our goalies and does a lot of one-on-one time with them. So usually, on a typical day, he'll work with them for half hour, 45 minutes, and then they'll join us for the rest of the workout.
Well, that's great. You're talking about some outside help there. You got a lot of outside help coming in to help you guys out here. Talk about a few of those guys that come in and help out.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot for one person to handle. I'm not going to take all the credit. I've got guys coming in. So we've got guys, we use the Sean Skinner stick handling curriculum. Sean will be joining us later next month.
Tell me a little bit about that. What is some of the specific details of what Sean does?
Just very detailed stick handling, a lot of different moves. We're working on head fake, dekes, hand fakes, puck control, puck possession, puck protection. And so it's a lot of things where kids are just working in these moves and trying to do it at a higher speed. And the attention to detail is what really separates it there. So that's a great asset. When
he was in the studio last fall, he talked about deception. Deception was one of the key things. Talk a little bit about how he's teaching these kids how to deceive the goaltender or the defender.
Right. Most kids, when they're coming up on most players, when they come up to make a move, they have to sell that move and make some type of body, get the one, you're selling false information. Go one way, get the guy to bite, and then cut back the other way, and that's basically your move. Any kind of move, it comes with those 2 elements.
So you have outside skating instructors. Tell me about those 2 that are coming in as well.
Yes, we've added a power skating coach that comes in every couple of weeks. We've got a figure skater that comes in and works with our edges, and it's not always the funnest. The kids are, not the sexiest hour of ice, but
not fun for the kids, but thankful for the parent. The parents are probably very thankful.
Right, because you work on edges and you work on crossovers and you work on holding edges, and those are things that are going to help players become elite.
All right, let's talk about the last guy here, Scott Bukestad.
Yeah, you might have heard of Scott.
The Cannon Man.
Yeah, the Cannon guy. Scott's known for a shooting school and academy that he does out of his garage, and we've added him this year. And
it's not just a little garage. I've been there.
Garage.
It's a huge garage with pucks everywhere.
Yeah, so Scott has got a great reputation and comes into our school every couple of weeks and works with our guys, and kids are really learning a lot from Scott, so it's an asset to our program.
Thanks, Joe, for stopping in the studio today. It's always good to have him a part of the show. Today was his 3rd appearance, making him the Alec Baldwin of 10 Minutes with Tony Scott. This year, the Big Pumpkin is a 24-team AA bracket event. On Friday afternoon, we will host 8 play-in games with the winners headed to the final 16 versus the top 8 teams in Minnesota on Friday night. The losers Friday afternoon will head to the white bracket. The losers Friday night will head to the orange bracket. And of course, the winners Friday night will be headed to the black championship bracket. We chose the field in the following manner. We took the top 8 teams from our preseason top 10 and gave them a bye. We then took the remaining 16 teams and put them into 4 randomly generated pools based on ranking and district. I think we got some great matchups for hockey fans on Friday. Now let's get right to them. Game 1, Moorhead Single A will take on Lakeville South with the winner to face East Grand Forks on Friday night. Game 2, Elk River will take on Cloquet in a great matchup of high school Section 7 teams. A lot of unknowns with both of these teams. Both could be really good. The winner of this game gets Osseo Maple Grove Friday night. Game 3, Prior Lake will meet Stillwater. The defending state champs have 8 first-year players that will need to grow up real fast if they are to repeat. The winner of this one will face Apple Valley on Friday night. Game 4, Moorhead AA will meet Jefferson in a great North versus Metro tilt. Both of these teams have some promising talent. The winner will face St. Cloud Friday night. Game 5, in another great North versus South matchup, Wayzata will take on Roseau at 12:45 Friday afternoon, with the winner getting highly ranked Edina Friday night. Game 6, Duluth East will tackle Osseo Maple Grove's A team in the first round. The Hounds better not look past these Leaf Birds. 2 years ago, they had 3 of the state's top squirt B teams in the state. The winner of this one gets Park Cottage Grove Friday night. Game 7, Blaine will face Mound West Tonka at the Sports Center in Moorhead. 2 good teams, much like the Elk River Cloquet matchup. Plenty of known commodities talent-wise, just not sure how the recipe will turn out. The winner of this one will take on the mighty EP, a team many think will contend for a state title this year up in Grand Rapids. Game 8, the last game of the day is Chaska Chan and Brainerd. Another good north-south affair. The Stormhawks will have a really nice squad this year. The winner will get a shot at White Bear Lake Friday night. Tier 1 report. This week, our number 1 teams in the country are both from Shattuck St. Mary's right here in Minnesota. The U16 team has a small homegrown flavor on their roster, while the U14 team is loaded with 8 great 2001 players from the state of hockey. The U16s only had 1 game this week, beating the Minnesota Blades 6-3 Saturday down in Faribault. The U14s walloped the competition this past weekend, winning 3 games by a combined 26-1. They will host the number 10 team Team Wisconsin this weekend in Faribault. The U14 Mid-Fairfield Junior Rangers moved up to number 2 in our Bantam rankings, beating the number 4 New Jersey Colonial Saturday 5-2 at home. We welcome 2 new teams to our Tier 1 top 10s this week. The U14 Anaheim Junior Ducks are now a top 10 team, and the U16 Carolina Junior Hurricanes are now top 10. Congrats to these 2 Sunny States teams for good starts to their season. Speaking of Sunny States, the Colorado Report is now here for you. 2 of the top 10 teams in this fall's Colorado Prep Hockey League are Foothills Dakota Ridge and Boulder Monarch. Foothills has the better league record of the 2, but Monarch beat them in overtime this fall in Littleton in the Twisted Wrister. The top CPHL scorers are Nate Kelly of Steamboat. He leads the whole state with 20 points. And Brendan Van Houte from Monarch has 16. For our Minnesota viewers, Colorado has high schoolers play USA Hockey Sanction before and after fall spring hockey with a Federation High School League in the winter. Featured Now Prospect. This week's Featured Now Prospects are very familiar names and faces to YHH. They were the 2 best players we saw this weekend at the High School Elite League. Scott Perunovich, who's headed to UMD in a couple years, and Casey Middlestat from Eden Prairie, who's a former YHH Band of Play a year and headed to Minnesota in 2 years. As we saw 2 years ago, Scott and Casey have jaw-dropping ability. Perunovich is a mastermind with a puck. His ability to hold the puck for that extra second or 2 makes him so dangerous on the ice. And Middlestat, it's fun to watch him too. Besides being a great shooter, he has amazing explosiveness and a genius-like hockey IQ. Boom roasted. Today we're going to roast the people in the hockey world who want to keep everything the same. If you tune into ESPN Classic and watch one of those games from the 70s or 80s, you think the game was better back then than it is today, that's amusing. The game of hockey is changing faster than the speed of the game itself. The equipment is better, the coaching is intuitive and well thought out. Turn on a game and watch Jack Eichel or Connor McDavid play. It's scary to think there's hundreds more that are 13 or 14 years old that are just going to be as good as him, as those 2. Embrace the changes. Embrace the internet for crying out loud, and embrace the game. It's an awesome one. Speaking of awesome, a huge thumbs up today to Prior Lake's Scott Reedy. I had a chance to sit down with him last weekend to learn more about his hockey career, past, present, and future. He's an outstanding young man who will be at the University of Minnesota in 2 years. Our feature on him comes out tomorrow. Thumbs up to Scott. Thanks for tuning into today's show. We really appreciate the viewers and support. We'll see you around the rink. Have a nice day.